3-2 to Bochum. It is a third straight defeat in all competitions for Bayern. The last time they went on a three-match losing streak was May 2015, when they'd already won the league. So it didn't mean half as much as it does now. This is what it means in the table. 8 points difference between first and second. First being Bayer Leverkusen, whose win yesterday, combined with Bayern's defeat today, means there is that 8-point gap at the top of the table. Here's what Thomas Tuchel has had to say after the game. He said, "I don't think today's defeat was fair. I think a lot went against us today. I think we had an expected goals value of 3.4 and we had 4, 5, 6 top chances. Right now, winning the Bundesliga is not so realistic. But last season, we also hoped until the last second and it worked out." All right, well, we're going to welcome in Archie Rintut, who's been following this whole drama all the way from us, most of the time from the sidelines. But let me start with you guys here in the studio, and let me start with you as well, Ali. This was the last thing that Bayern needed today.
Absolutely the last thing they needed. And if you could picture a bad week for Bayern Munich, this is even worse. An awful week from Bayern Munich. Even in their worst nightmares, they could not have pictured such a bad week that started with the destruction by Bayer Leverkusen last weekend, losing to Lazio, and then following that up and losing at Bochum. Awful week, right? And so you're thinking, at the beginning of the game for the first 20 minutes, you're seeing a marginally better version of Bayern Munich. They seem to be in control of the game. They go up in the game. They get that second chance there for Harry Kane, in which you think, okay, this is going to be 2-0. It didn't happen. In years past, when I'm watching this game from 1,000 miles away, I would have said, it's all right. It's all right. It'll be one of the many chances they're going to get, and they're going to run away with this game regardless. When that miss happened, nowadays, given what the reality of Bayern Munich is, I was thinking, uh-oh. And if I'm thinking it, 1,000 miles away, and I'm sensing it, and I'm feeling it, you don't think the players are feeling it? You don't think they're sensing it? That they know that the margin for them right now between being in control and a total collapse is so small. It's such a fine line. It's a blurry line, actually, when you think of it. And so they know that they need all the help they can get at this point to elevate their level of confidence, and going up to nothing would have done that. They went from there to a stoppage because of the protest, and it's like somebody just said, Bayern Munich, that's it, and that's all, thanks for coming, and they didn't show up for the remaining of the first half. And then Bochum just fought. Bochum is not a team that is just going to outplay you. They can outfight you, they can outrun you, they can outwork you. That's what they try to do, and that's what they did. And they showed a desire and a sense of purpose that Bayern Munich simply doesn't have at this point. We only saw a version of Bayern Munich that looked similar to what we expect from them when they went down a man and they were desperate and they said, well, we have to go for it. We have no other choice. Bayern Munich right now, as I mentioned before, they are so far away from their level. But again, their difference between them being in control of what we perceive to be in control of the game and the whole roof collapsing and everything going wrong for them, it's so small. And so now they're expecting for things to go wrong. And when things go wrong, the team just breaks down. They're so fragile. This is like a boxer with a glass jaw right now. They cannot take a punch.
Yeah, talking about the mentality issues with Bayern right now, is it that Bochum looks at a team like Bayern, the run that they're in, and thinks, okay, they can be got at today, and they did it?
Well, it took them a little bit of time to figure that one out, because when they're stepping on the field, they're thinking we're playing Bayern Munich today. But as the game goes on, they start realising that this is not the Bayern Munich that we're used to playing against. And players can smell it on the field. And they just got after them. And Bayern, as Ali said, when they get punched on the nose, they don't come back. With the amount of experience, I mean, you look at that lineup, you talk about experienced players, but when the going gets tough, nobody stands up strong. They all seem to disappear. And they're all looking around to see who's going to take the lead. And nobody's taking it. And I think it's even worse. I think what's even worse is they look at the sideline and they look at a guy in Tuchel who they now, at this stage of the season, they know he has no idea what his best team is. They know. When you sit down before a game or the day before and the manager reads the team out, we all have an idea of a proper team. We know who at least 10 are. There may be a change for maybe a particular reason. When you're in this Bayern dressing room and you sit down for the team, you've got no idea who's playing. Because the changes he makes constantly, different formations, different way of playing. I mean, an absolute shambles. And Tuchel, I can't imagine how Tuchel still got a job.
The CEO says that Tuchel's sticking around, Archie, because obviously that's been the first question for so many after a third consecutive defeat.
Yes, that's what Jan Christian Dresen said. He was very reluctant to try and answer that question, but in the end said that he will be in charge for the RB Leipzig game next weekend. But the air is getting thinner and thinner for Thomas Tuchel because the manner of that defeat today was shocking. And the fact is, I don't think Bochum had to play at their very limit. And usually it goes without saying in Germany that you have to play a perfect game if you're going to beat Bayern Munich. And I don't think Bochum really had to today. They were very good, but they weren't at their limit. And if you go through that Bayern team and you think about the amount of players who are just off form right now, Leroy Sané, who didn't start today because of a flare-up of a knee injury that he's been carrying for weeks, so said Thomas Tuchel. The fact that when he came on, everything seemed to go wrong for him. He missed a glorious chance as well. It was a fantastic save by Manuel Riemann. But the sort of chance where in the first half of the season you think he's sticking this away. But it's the same old Leroy Sané inconsistency that we've seen throughout his career. You look at the Joshua Kimmich situation where he comes to near blows, a near scuffle with the assistant coach Salt Löw after the game because he was taken off in the second half. That's a situation that's having to be managed. Harry Kane had Harry Kane had his worst game in a Bayern shirt.